My name is Sarah, and 5 years ago, I made the best decision of my life. I adopted my daughter, Lily. She was 6, with big brown eyes and a shy smile that could melt the coldest heart. The moment I saw her at the adoption center, I knew she was meant to be mine. Are you sure about this? My mother asked when I told her my plans. You're only 30. You've got time to find someone and have your own kids. But I didn't want to wait. I had a fulfilling career as a pediatric nurse, a cozy home, and so much love to give. I didn't need a partner to be a great mom. The first few months with Lily were challenging but beautiful. She was quiet at first, her big eyes always observing. Slowly, her personality began to shine. I discovered her love for drawing. She could spend hours sketching butterflies and rainbows. She had a tender heart too, saving half her sandwich every day to feed the backyard birds. My family needed time to adjust. Most of them came around eventually. My parents adored Lily's gentle nature, and my younger brother, Mike, became her favorite uncle with his endless jokes and piggyback rides. But my older brother James, his wife Rachel, and their kids, Emma and Lucas, that's where everything changed. The first time Lily met Emma and Lucas at a family Christmas gathering, I had high hopes. Emma, 7, was just a year older than Lily, and Lucas was 5. I imagined them becoming close, giving Lily the siblings she'd never had. But Rachel's reaction crushed that dream instantly. Oh, she said, looking Lily up and down. So this is the adopted one. The word dripped with disdain. Lily's hand tightened in mine. This is your cousin Lily, I corrected firmly, but Rachel was already calling her kids to meet their new cousin, complete with air quotes. From then on, Emma and Lucas excluded Lily at every turn, running off when she tried to join their games, whispering and pointing during dinner. I confronted James, but he dismissed me. Kids will be kids, Sarah. Don't overreact. Rachel was worse. What do you expect? They're real cousins, not some stranger's unwanted child, she said within earshot of Lily. I started limiting visits, focusing on building a safe, loving environment at home. Lily began to blossom again, excelling in school, making friends, and filling our days with laughter and art. Life felt perfect. Until James and Rachel moved into our school district. Isn't it wonderful? My mom gushed. Now the cousins can all go to school together. My stomach sank. Lily had finally found her footing in 3rd grade, but now Emma would be in her class, and Lucas would be just a grade below. At first, everything seemed fine. Lily came home with her usual stories and art projects. But soon she started eating less, struggling to sleep, and waking from nightmares, crying out, "Mama, don't leave me." When I asked what was wrong, she stayed silent, but I noticed her sparkle fading. It wasn't until Maria, her best friend's mom, called me that I learned the truth. Sarah, Maria began hesitantly, I thought you should know, Sophia came home crying today. Emma and Lucas told everyone Lily isn't really part of your family, that she's just a charity case. I felt like I'd been punched. They said that. There's more. Emma's been spreading lies, telling kids Lily's real parents were criminals, and Lucas convinced the class not to play with her. Sophia's heartbroken, but Emma threatened her if she didn't go along. That night, as I watched Lily silently push food around her plate, I couldn't stay quiet. Lily Flower, I said gently, using her special nickname, is everything okay at school? You can tell me anything. Her big brown eyes brimmed with tears. Emma says you're not my real mom. She says you'll give me back when you get tired of me, like my first parents did. I pulled her into my arms, heartbroken and furious. Listen to me, Lily Flower. You are my real, wonderful, perfect daughter. I chose you, and I will never, ever give you up. Promise, she whispered. I promised with all my heart. That night, after Lily fell asleep, I tried calling James and Rachel, but neither answered. Fine. If they wouldn't face me over the phone, I'd confront them in person. The next morning, after dropping Lily off early for art club, I made a decision. This cruelty ends today. What I didn't know was that the situation was about to spiral further out of control, and a shocking revelation from the school's security cameras would tear our family apart. That morning felt endless. My hands moved through the motions of work, checking vitals, administering meds, but my mind was elsewhere, replaying Mrs. Martinez's email over and over. What had happened to Lily? What could be so serious they needed me to come in? When I arrived at Cedar Elementary, my stomach churned as I parked. Kids laughed and shouted on the playground, but all I could think about was Lily. Was she okay? My knuckles were white on the steering wheel. Then I saw Rachel's SUV pulling in. Of course, they'd been called too. Mrs. Martinez's office felt claustrophobic with the five of us squeezed inside. Me, Rachel, James, Mrs. Martinez, and Ms. Chen, the school counselor. The air was heavy, the tension so thick it pressed down on my chest. "Thank you for coming," Mrs. Martinez began, her tone serious. "We've called this meeting due to some troubling incidents involving your children. I believe it's best if I show you." She turned her computer screen toward us, and the room fell silent. My pulse thundered as the video began to play. Lily stood by the water fountains, clutching her books. Emma and Lucas cornered her, their faces smug. The audio was crystal clear. "You don't belong here," Emma sneered. "My mom says you're not really our cousin. You're just some random kid Aunt Sarah felt sorry for." Lucas chimed in, "Yeah, my mom says your real parents didn't even want you. That's why you got dumped." Lily shrank against the wall, her voice barely audible. "That's not true. My mama loves me." "She's not your real mama," Emma snapped. "My mom says she's just pretending, and when she has real kids, she'll give you back." My heart broke watching Lily's little shoulders hunch under the weight of their cruelty. Then Emma knocked Lily's books out of her hands, and Lucas dumped water on her homework. But what made my blood run cold was the figure standing just out of sight. Rachel. She was there, watching, smirking. When Emma and Lucas finally walked off, Rachel stepped into view, her face void of concern. She didn't scold her kids. She didn't check on Lily. She simply ushered Emma and Lucas toward their classroom like nothing had happened. Mrs. Martinez paused the video. "This is just one incident," she said quietly. "There have been others, but this is particularly troubling." Ms. Chen opened a file. "Teachers and parents have reported ongoing bullying, much of it involving Emma and Lucas, and much of it appears to be influenced by adult behavior." Her eyes flicked toward Rachel. Rachel bristled. "This is ridiculous. They're just kids. Kids tease. It's normal." "Normal?" I said, my voice trembling with anger. "You stood there and let your kids humiliate mine. You encouraged them." Rachel rolled her eyes. "Oh please, this is all being blown out of proportion. Maybe if you hadn't forced Lily into a family she doesn't belong in, we wouldn't be having this conversation." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Forced? She's my daughter." "She's not really part of this family," Rachel snapped. "Blood matters, Sarah. My children know that. That's why they're confused. You've been pretending she's something she's not, and now you're upset they see through it." I stood my chair scraping loudly against the floor. "Lily is my daughter. She's more a part of this family than you'll ever be." "Enough," Mrs. Martinez interrupted, her voice sharp. "Mrs. Peterson, this behavior, both from your children and from you, is unacceptable. Emma and Lucas will be suspended for 2 weeks. Additionally, we're requiring counseling before they return. If this continues, there will be further consequences, including possible expulsion." Rachel shot to her feet. "This is absurd. You're punishing my children for speaking the truth. They've done nothing wrong." "Rachel, stop," James said softly. He was pale, his eyes glued to the paused video on the screen. I didn't know it was this bad." "Don't you dare side with her," Rachel hissed, jabbing a finger in my direction. "This is her fault. She brought that girl into our family. She's the problem." "No," James said, his voice firmer now. "The problem is us. What we've let happen." Mrs. Martinez continued, "We're also required to report this to family services. This type of targeted harassment, especially toward an adopted child, raises serious concerns." Rachel's face flushed an angry red. "James, are you hearing this? They're treating us like criminals." But James didn't respond. He just shook his head, looking defeated. As the meeting ended, Rachel stormed out, dragging James with her. I followed a few steps behind, my heart heavy. Passing her SUV, I heard her voice through the open window. "This isn't fair," she wailed. "She's not even real family. My kids shouldn't have to compete with some charity case." James said something I couldn't hear, but it didn't matter. I'd heard enough. That night, as I sat by Lily's bed, watching her sleep, I made a promise to myself. This wasn't over. Not even close. Rachel wanted to pretend Lily didn't belong. Fine. I'd show her exactly how wrong she was. Because what Rachel didn't know was that this wasn't the only recording. And what came next would ensure she never hurt my daughter again. That evening, I picked Lily up from Maria's house, where she'd spent the afternoon playing with Sophia. The moment she saw me, she ran into my arms, her laughter bubbling up like music. "Can Sophia come over tomorrow, Ma? Her mom says it's okay," she asked, her eyes bright with hope. For a moment, I let myself savor the sight of her happiness, silently thanking Maria and Sophia for being the safe harbor my daughter needed. "Of course, baby," I said with a smile. "But first, we need to talk about something important." At home, I sat Lily down on the couch, holding her small hands in mine. I explained as gently as I could about the video from school and the consequences Emma and Lucas would face. "They won't be in school for a while," I said. "They're going to learn why what they did was wrong." Lily's expression grew serious. After a pause, she looked up at me and asked in a small, uncertain voice, "Is it because I'm adopted? Is that why they don't want me in the family?" The words hit me like a punch to the chest. I swallowed hard, then reached for my phone and opened a video I'd taken years ago, right after the adoption was finalized. It showed 6-year-old Lily sitting in my lap as I read her favorite story. Her laughter was infectious, her smile brighter than the sun. "See this?" I said, holding the phone where she could see it. "This was the day you became mine forever. Not because I had to, but because I chose to. Because I loved you the moment I saw you, and I've loved you more every day since." She leaned into me, watching the video with wide eyes. "We look happy," she whispered. "We are happy," I said firmly, "and we don't need anyone else's approval to be a family." The next morning, my mother called again, insisting on a family dinner. This time, I agreed, but only because I had something they all needed to see. That evening, we gathered at my parents' house. Rachel sat with her children, playing the victim, while James avoided my gaze, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. My parents kept trying to mediate, urging us to move past this misunderstanding. Before anyone could launch into their rehearsed speeches about family unity, I stood up and connected my phone to the TV. "Since we're all here to talk about family," I said, my voice steady, "let's watch something that sheds some light on what that word really means." The video began playing, footage from my home security camera, taken 3 months ago. It showed Rachel arriving at my house when she knew I was at work. She let herself in with the spare key she claimed was for emergencies. In the video, she walked through the house with Lily, pointing at the photos on the walls. "See these?" Rachel's voice came through the speakers, cold and cutting. "These aren't your real family photos. Your real parents didn't want you. Aunt Sarah just felt sorry for you, but one day she'll have her own kids, and then where will you be?" The room fell silent, except for the sound of Rachel's voice. I played more clips, Rachel coaching her children to exclude Lily, Rachel making cruel remarks at family gatherings, Rachel systematically trying to convince my daughter that she didn't belong. When the final video ended, I turned to face the room. "I'm moving," I announced. "I've accepted a position at Children's Hospital in Denver. Lily and I leave next month." "You can't just take her away from her family," my mother protested. "Family?" I said, my voice sharp with disbelief. "You all sat here and let Rachel and her kids torment my daughter. You made excuses, called it a misunderstanding. Well, guess what? We don't need this kind of family." I turned to Rachel, who was pale and trembling. "I've sent copies of these videos to the school board and my lawyer. If you ever come near my daughter again, if you ever so much as say her name, I will make sure everyone knows exactly who you are." We left that night and didn't look back. 6 months later, Lily and I were thriving in Denver. She loved her new school, where nobody questioned whether she was really my daughter. She joined the art club, made friends who adored her, and rediscovered her confidence. One afternoon, she came home beaming with excitement. "We're doing a family tree project at school," she announced, spreading paper across the kitchen table. She worked for hours, and when she was finished, she showed me her creation.